All right, we're live. Great. I'm going to share my screen with you. And do you see the chart?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So, Kayla, when's your birthday?
It's September 11, 1985.
Okay, what time?
Let me double check because I think it is 10. I can tell you the location is Hillsdale, Michigan.
Are you double checking the time?
I am, because it's either 10:17 or 10:57, and I don't want to give you the wrong time.
Right, okay.
There we go. Yeah, it's 10:57
All right,
a.m.
good. All right, 1 degree Scorpio rising?
Yep.
Great.
That's me.
Hello, Kayla, on the soul level. So, Kayla, I always start with the same question pretty much, which is, what is going on lately in your life?
So I just ended, I would say, a massive transformation within my internal home. So my kids, my marriage, and my career.
Juicy. Okay.
So in 2023, I unexpectedly walked away from my 15-year physician assistant career. And that had a massive impact on, I was already working on improving things at home with my 3 kids and within my marriage. I was working through realizing I had some complex PTSD from growing up and how that affected my life. And the stress was taking a toll on my health. And after walking away from that and putting my energy into being home with my kids, I was starting a coaching business as well, put all of that on hold and just really focused on my healing and repairing and deepening my relationships with my kids and with my husband. So we started homeschooling them. So they're finishing their 2nd year of homeschooling. My marriage is significantly better. We ended up selling our house because we needed to completely restructure our financial system. Walking away from a career like that, we no longer were building a life with 2 incomes. So a lot of money reprogramming, a lot of subconscious reprogramming around money for both of us. And just really getting back to what I would say is finding my joy and my purpose and my worth outside of my career and just being productive in a nutshell.
Okay.
There's a lot of rearranging of relationships, I'd say, over the last 7 years or so. A lot with my family, my husband's family, friendships, some deepening, and then others lost.
Why did you say 7 years in particular?
In 2019, we moved from Michigan to Florida. So we moved away from my husband's family. And we were all pretty close with his family at that time. They were helping with our kids. So in 2019, we moved from there. So it was the first time we really were away from both of our families.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna try to make it pretty simple. So we're gonna start with 2023. That's actually the year that Saturn entered Pisces. I'm getting some feedback when I'm talking, like an echo from your microphone.
I'll put some headphones on 1 sec.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and see if that.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me or not yet? Okay, there's no echo from you.
Okay, so it's all better?
So this is fine for you?
Yep, it's fine for me.
Okay. The first thing I want to say is that as I'm putting this together, it's just gonna, as you give more information, you'll see that everything is gonna click more into place. Just because, you know, when we move through things at a very surface level, we don't get some of the important details that illustrate the actual signs in the houses. Anyhow, it's about Saturn that was opposing your sun starting in 2023. And the reason that's important is because the sun is like what you do, like what your goals are, what you want to accomplish in life, what your career is. And that you go through this like pivotal moment where you feel like, well, you don't want to be in the physician's assistant office anymore. We can talk about why that was, but you'd rather be with your kids and with your family. Makes me think about that Saturn opposition to your sun, like getting very clear about what you want to spend your life doing. Makes me think that maybe you lost someone at that time that made you think more about, or maybe you were sick. Yeah, something like that's coming up. And then you can see that simultaneously, if we look at, so the inner wheel is your natal chart and the outer wheel is the transits. So if you notice, Pluto at the moment is very close to the cusp of your fourth house and making basically an exact opposition to your moon. But that opposition to your moon in conjunction to your fourth house cusp would have started already like 3 years ago when Pluto first entered Aquarius, which was also around 2023. Right. And so that was happening in the third house, which is like schooling, yeah, and education. And so there for me also, like Pluto opposing your moon from there is when you started to teach your kids, like homeschool. And that in fact makes me think about just the moon Jupiter opposition by itself. Given that the moon is like your journey as a mom and as a parent and as a family, and Jupiter is like the teacher, right? So well, there's a lot more happening here, but this is, you know, when you tell me that you're homeschooling your kids, this is like the imprint that is coming up for me. We'll talk more about that.
I don't know if it plays in it. Also, two of my kids are Leo, which is right at my moon, I think.
Great. So what do they do like, how old are they, first of all?
Well, right now they're 13, 11, and 9.
Okay.
And it's my two girls who are.
Your two girls are both Leo, and you have and then a boy.
Yeah.
And the boy's the eldest.
He's the middle.
The middle. Okay. Okay, and the last part that I want to mention is just like, again, that Pluto opposition. Okay. First of all, notice that the Pluto square is happening at the same time, right? To Pluto on your ascendant. So that part makes me think about you going through this huge kind of middle life transition where you feel like the work you were doing doesn't resonate with you anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So that makes me think about the huge change of letting that career go. And it happened with this restructuring of the whole family unit and you moving much closer to your husband and also your kids. Right, so there I see Pluto transiting that T square that you have in your natal chart. And this is that whole shift that your family has made? Okay, does that all make sense so far?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good. What does that make you think of?
It's just the first time I started really questioning my work environment was definitely prior to moving. So that was, 2017, 2018. And then in 22 and 23 was when I was going through huge shifts with my parents. So I started opening up and talking about the issues I was struggling with my parents, because my mom struggles with alcoholism, and I started opening up to them about the work that I was going through for myself and for my family. And there was just a lot of disruption with my parents. There was a time frame where I wasn't talking to my dad, and all of that obviously was making me question my relationships with everyone and what I was doing, who I was spending my time with, what I was spending my money on, just really looking at life with a whole new lens.
You said that was in 22, 23.
Yep.
Um, so what spurred that on?
In July of 2022, I went on a trip to Michigan with my dad and my sisters. And we ended up having a very deep conversation about what was going on in the family and with my mom. And just, secrets came out. And it was just kind of an explosion at that point. And the family dynamic shifted between my parents, and I would say my sisters and I, and definitely my dad and I, after that July 2022 trip.
Hmm. Um, why? Or right, because I don't understand your situation too well just yet.
Why did it change everything? They ended up getting a divorce.
Okay.
And
So what did you all talk about at that time? About her drinking, or I
we
mean, is
talked about, yeah, we talked about her drinking, the things that my youngest sister was being exposed to at home, and essentially saying, like, this can't continue anymore. Like, these family dynamics weren't okay. And what I essentially asked my dad, when is enough enough? Like, when are you going to do something about all of this? Because we all can't keep living like this. So after that trip, I had shared information that essentially kind of opened his eyes to things he wasn't aware of. So over the course of the next year, he ended up going through the process of just having to realize, this is not, I can't keep doing this. So he ultimately, I think it was maybe around a year, ended up getting a divorce. So I think in 2023 must have been then when my parents got divorced, while I was still going through all of my own individual things and speaking up for myself, and just reevaluating my relationship with my parents, which I don't know how familiar you are with trauma and inner child work, but the relationship that we have with our parents, both in the past and currently, outwardly affects all of the relationships with everyone else in our life, whether we're aware of it or not. I think kind of like the planets and the astrology affect our energy, whether we're aware of it or not. So me reevaluating my relationship with them and who I used to be around them and who I wanted to be moving forward, or was even willing to be moving forward with them, made me really reevaluate my relationship with everyone, including my kids, my husband, any friends. And that includes career, because as I understand it and as I've experienced, our relationship that we started with at a young age with our parents also affects our thoughts around money and how we earn it. So I'd always earned money by just working really, really hard and being perfectionistic about it. So all of that fell apart in 23.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see the whole story, but to translate it is I'm gonna try. Is it making sense to you so far, what we're doing?
Oh yeah, I've been learning a little. I mean, astrology can be a little complicated, so that's why I appreciate what you're doing and trying to help teach people. I've been learning it as I go along, and it has taken the pressure off. So when things were falling apart and relationships were falling away, like losing friendships, it felt less personal. And it has felt more like, okay, this is happening for me. This is all part of getting me to where I need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, because something else I'm thinking about is like what we're talking, the point that we reached with you just now is like kind of demands a lot of context because it's such
Yeah.
a you know what I mean? Um and therefore, because I see how all of the planets are working together, but each of those is telling like a number of stories within that main story. Never mind, I'll try to just make it like this. The thing I really want to point out is that Saturn was transiting your fourth house, and that was starting in 2021, in fact, or maybe even before in 2020. And during this period, Saturn was actually retrograde. I have the transits up for July of 2022. And Saturn was retrograde in your fourth house, opposing your Venus.
Hmm.
And this makes me think about this period where while Saturn is retrograding opposite Venus, because that would have been 2020 for the next, like until the end of 2022. All right, so in that period, there's all of these shifts happening in your family, and your parents start to like go through the process of getting a divorce, and you're also thinking about like, well, how much work am I putting into my career? I want to be home with my kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the other part, I'm again feeling this T square because you started talking about the inner child and how, whether we know it or not, our interaction with our parents affects how we interact with everyone else in our life.
Yeah.
And that you go through this, I guess that tells me that you went through a deep reparenting journey, like reprogramming your subconscious because of how you experienced like family dynamics.
Yeah.
There I see the T square of the Moon Jupiter opposition to your Pluto in the first house.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what's it like now that you've been homeschooled? So now that you left behind your career and you're at home, what is the situation currently?
So currently, and I'll compare it to before, and I will add, I was realizing that I was repeating patterns in my own marriage that I experienced growing up. So a lot of yelling, reactivity, both with each other and with our kids. And all of that was my big motivation to break those cycles.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, like we're really good at repair, both in our marriage and with the kids. So, if we have a moment where we're, losing our patience, we're able to come back to them and apologize and communicate that we, want to do better. And we spend a lot more quality time together. I find myself just having a lot more, I would say, sober fun with both my husband and the kids. Whereas before, prior to all of this, I would drink on the weekends. And there is more, I would say, just authenticity. And I no longer find my worth from the my career, the earning money or what I'm accomplishing. It's more I'm finding my worth as a person by who I am with the people that I interact with, the energy that I bring to them, the energy that I bring out of them. There's a lot more deep connection. I would say that the superficial relationships have fallen away and there's a lot more depth, a lot more connection. Spirituality has been much more at the forefront. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
money. has changed significantly. So whereas before I would just really abandon my own needs in order to make enough money and be safe, we are now in a better situation financially than we were prior to all of this. And that's without me earning any money over the last few years. And
Uh-huh.
so I was
Okay.
able to essentially show myself, like gain proof through all of this work that I deserve abundant love and money. Like it's not one or the other. I get to have both.
Mm-hmm.
But that meant stepping back, pulling back, doing more inner work, but doing less, in the external world in terms of earning money. It's been just really listening to that intuitive pull to focus on my own self-care and relationships and trust that that is what is going to actually bring us more presence, more time together, because that's what we really value at this point. It's not just, can we earn more money for more things? It's that we want to have more quality time together and actually enjoy our kids while they're young and, not be miserable and fighting with each other. So all of like the relationships have just, they're much healthier. Does that help with the
Yeah, this makes me
complex?
think about like how Pluto, because Pluto's transits are very slow.
Mm-hmm.
And you do go through that total throwing away of something, but that's a very long process to be replaced with something very different. And what I'm seeing in your story is the story of when Pluto entered Aquarius and started squaring your Pluto. Because what I see is that you're the one to have had the impulse to go really deep into yourself and into understanding, like, yeah, just you.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's connected with your family and with your kids and with your marriage is the moon. Yeah, the moon squaring Pluto. And that you go through this huge process of like expansion with your husband and with your kids and with yourself. And it comes from the deepest part of you. That's also the cusp of the fourth house because it's the lowest point in the chart. And so that Pluto's been lingering there and is still approaching, in fact, hasn't even entered the fourth house yet. For me, there's something building, in fact.
Yeah, so what that alludes to is the career that I'm planning to step into, which is completely different from the traditional medical career. And I had started doing it before everything was essentially falling apart. And that is a coaching business, essentially helping people through what I have been through, helping them actually create deep connection within their marriage instead of getting divorced, and how that affects your health. Because what I really was finding, and why a big reason why the healthcare system was no longer really resonating with me, is I was learning all of these holistic ways like breath work and subconscious reprogramming and somatic exercises that really were eliminating my insomnia and my chronic migraines and my chronic pain and hormonal imbalance and all of these things. And I started to feel like I was doing people a disservice, essentially just prescribing them medication and keeping the tools away from them. So my big picture and what I'm working towards, which it's been very hard to be patient, to not just start this before essentially I think the transformation within my family is finished, or the transformation within myself is finished, is sharing these tools with people, sharing these tools with other moms and women so that they can essentially untie these cycles and patterns they're stuck in their marriage that are affecting their kids, that are affecting their health, because that will impact their kids and generations. So I see that having a much bigger impact. So, plant medicine couples retreats. I just met someone recently they just started a new ayahuasca retreat. So getting the opportunity to be of service and help with something like that. So that's where I'm heading. That's just not, I'm not, spending full time with that yet, but that's in the very near future. So,
Okay. So again, do you see this T square
yes.
and how you go through the transformation with your family unit first, and then you're ready to give that to other people. The other thing is with Venus near your moon as well. So for me, that's like how valuable it is for you, the family time and spending time with your kids and having a lot of togetherness, but also that you want to work with couples to help them with their families as well because of the transformation you've gone through yourself to coach them through it. And
Yeah.
so therefore I see Pluto that's going to enter your fourth house in the next year or two. Yeah, so that tells me over the next few years you start to ramp up that work. Probably already this year, right?
Yeah. We after selling the house, we've been renting since July, and we are moving this July. So this July, we're moving to our new home, and that's when, once we get settled, that's my plan. That's my goal, is to, get established with us. So routine for me, I don't know if that comes up at all, but I feel called for the next kind of focus to be on health routines. So we're changing the kids' schooling to just be more unique, more creative, let them kind of find what their interests and passions are, but then slowly get into a routine of how can I start this business, but in a way that is not going to pull me back to old habits, no, not abandon my needs, but be of service in a way that I can gain energy from that and slowly build that with, healthy, I would say, healthy balance
Okay.
with the things that I've learned.
A few things. First of all, in July, Jupiter will conjoin your moon, and there is moving into the new house.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that house?
So Florida.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about that house you can say? Any detail?
It has, so initially we were thinking we wanted to buy land, maybe start homesteading, and nothing like that was panning out. It seemed like that just wasn't the direction we were quite allowed to go in. We kept meeting resistance. So we are staying along the coast, which is where we live now, is along the east coast of Florida. And it has an extra bedroom, an office, a loft. So it has plenty of space for the kids to still have their own room, loft area for them to play, extra bedroom for some really close friends to come visit, for family to come visit. It's a big neighborhood, and nice amenities, clubhouse. So community is the word that comes to mind.
Mhm.
Community is the big thing that I have been craving and missing and really wanting to build, both for my family, but also, within my business. So that's the word that is yelling at me, is community. And that's what that home, I think, really represents to what we're going to be able to step into in this next phase, but also in a way to where we're in a good, responsible financial spot with it, knowing that things have shifted.
Okay. Um, so again, in July, Jupiter conjoins your moon, and that is when you finally move into this new gorgeous space. And if we go to your chart by itself, there is Jupiter in Aquarius in the fourth house because you have a big neighborhood and all the nice amenities and a clubhouse. That's all Aquarius, right? Because Aquarius is the community. It's all the people together. And so this also makes me think, oh yeah, this house you also wanted to be kind of a communal place, something you can build there that is also for your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's the opposition with the moon, and we can remove Pluto just for now. So here's what I'm hearing actually about this new home you're moving into that has a loft as well, right? Because Aquarius is an air sign, so it's spacious. Jupiter, big, right? With extra rooms for people to come visit Aquarius. And as you were talking, I was feeling the moon in Leo as well, like being a welcoming home where people can come visit, maybe having some events, throwing some parties. Oh, and also the part where you had said that you're letting the kids at this point decide like what are they interested in, what are their hobbies, so they're exploring more, right? So there I feel the moon in Leo energy again, and how Pluto is coming through again, destroying even more of the previous educational model, and seeing, so what are the new things that we can find out haven't been explored even yet, right? So there's the Jupiter with the moon, your personal exploration of teaching your kids and connecting with them. Does that all make sense? Through play, through learning?
Oh yeah, yep. This will be the first. So the last couple of years, we've essentially used a public virtual school system, and now we're leaving that and going even more unconventional and just allowing them to choose a foreign language and an instrument or art and doing something physical. And then even this will be the first time that both my husband and I have the freedom and ability to also branch out and start to have some more time for our own, I would say, creative and fun exploration, getting into maybe some hobbies. Uh, just
Mm-hmm.
some play is the word that I think I'm going for. More
Okay,
time
so
for
do you
all of
see
us.
Jupiter is going to be transiting your 10th house? That's coming up starting July and for the following year. So he's going to be transiting your moon and your Venus in the 10th house. And so this is a time where you and your husband, together with other couples, play and do
Mhm.
hobbies. Yeah? Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it's
Okay.
essentially exactly what I'm going for. It's always funny to see that, yep, that was already in the cards for you.
Right. And the other part that you had said a little bit earlier, like notice that Saturn has just entered your sixth house, right? Your sixth house begins at 8 degrees of Aries. Saturn is currently at 9 degrees of Aries. So you said, yeah, like your focus is now shifting towards the routine.
Yeah. So that's lining up with this summer. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, this is in fact just the beginning of a 2 year period for that,
Okay. That
right?
makes
Because Saturn's
sense.
going to be in your sixth house for the next couple years.
That makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. It'll take, I don't know if you can relate to this, but just always wanting things to happen and work out faster than is actually going to. So 2 years to figure out a new structure, both for, work, career, fun, the kids, schooling, all of that. That makes
For me,
sense.
scheduling is a big topic of the sixth house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like being able to navigate your kids' schedules, your husband's schedule, your schedule, that feels like more of a point of tension.
Yes, because it there to be able to have the option to essentially build whatever you want, to build whatever works for you is the opposite of what I've always had. It's always been what I think most of us have experienced is you've got school during the week. So you're up at this exact time. The kids are in school all day. You go to work at this time, you come home.
Mm,
But we really are looking at how do I want to build my day out? How do I want to build my week out? How do I want to build my month out? And when you have all these choices, it sounds like it shouldn't be hard. I should just be excited and happy and celebratory. And I am. And it's a process to choose because you kind of have to focus on one area first and build on that, one small area and build on that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you get overwhelmed by choice and you just freeze and you just do nothing or you just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
I totally get it. You guys are there's no model for
Bingo.
yeah, it's like removing yourself from the kind of corporate matrix that everyone is programmed to live on, everyone the same with the school system, and now you're just exploring like, so what do you and your kids organically feel like experiencing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What are the challenges with that currently?
Oh, technology.
Oh. How?
There's so much free time for the kids that naturally they're drawn to want to be on devices.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, establishing ourselves in a new home and a new community, because we're not in a space right now where they can just go outside and play and make friends and, be on necessarily scooters and bikes and such. But
Ah.
where we're going, they will be able to. So I can kick them out. I can, take them to the club, whatever that looks like. So there's a big, I would say that's the thing that eats at me daily is they're on devices too much. They're on devices too much, but also saying like, this is temporary. This is going to shift, and just having that trust that moving forward, there will be more time outside connecting in the real world, which is the big, right? We all need more of, and less time on devices.
Uh-huh.
Because it's so easy to just let them play on that all day, but that is not, I mean, it's more addictive than I think any substance.
Yeah. Okay. Here I'm feeling the opposition again. And I have to remind you that, right, Jupiter is coming in July.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me think that probably in your mind, as you explained it, once you're able to move there, like you will be relieved,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And I feel that from the Jupiter transit to your moon Jupiter, right? But if you look at it even as a standalone, Jupiter in your fourth house in Aquarius, having a big community as a huge resource at home, right? And the opposition with the moon in Leo, so
Mm-hmm.
that the kids can go out and play and develop character and real world skills and interact with actual people and be leaders and represent the family.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want them to fit in. We are very much figure out who you are, what you love, and yeah, that's the goal is, I mean, kids motivate so much. So
I see.
that
I see
they are
that
the
you're
inspiration for all the deep transformation, because it is not fun. It is not pretty on the other side of it, for
okay.
sure. But yeah, if I hadn't have had kids, I don't think I would have had the motivation, the drive to have gone through and actually faced all of the energies that have been working internally on me.
Mhm. Okay. Do you see this T square again now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I see that for you, the experience of having a family has been extraordinarily expansive.
Yeah.
And it's like at the forefront of your whole concept of life. But for some people, it's not that much. I mean, they have their family, but you're kind of taking it to another level. And there's the moon, Jupiter, Pluto. Does that make sense when you see it that way, or not quite?
It does. And, I haven't thought about it as, because for me, I just assume everyone wants that. Like everyone wants the depth and, more connection with the people they're surrounded with daily. But I think I need to remember that this maybe is a piece that is a little more unique to me, and maybe why I need to be sharing it and talking about it. uh, So that
Right.
people are like, wait, what am I missing out on? Wait, so you're saying I could be enjoying this? I could be doing that. So yeah, that's maybe a message I needed to hear and did not know and did not expect that my chart would show. So I
Uh-huh.
just assume everyone's that way.
Yeah, the family coach, the family and the relationship coach.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of fun again because of the Leo energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, but the technology. Uh-huh. Okay, that makes me think about a very different note of Pluto in Aquarius opposing your moon. Right, Pluto in Aquarius for me is this the immense magnification of technology in our everyday lives and also the proliferation of AI and so forth. right? And so that your kids are being entertained by screen time and wanting it. And you're kind of fighting with this, what you ultimately can't really fight, right? Because it's happening as a collective, this movement, Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One thing that has helped, I would say, combat that though, is that all three of them have become little creators. So all three of them have created a YouTube channel, and
Ah,
like my oldest has a bigger following than I do, and they're all faceless, so they don't have their faces on there or any, personal information, so we're comfortable with it, but they're creating with things that they love and they enjoy. So my oldest is big into anime, and so she has 8,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, and she just creates these videos and shares them and she's done a better job at creating an online community than I have. Like, I learned from her. So, and same thing, my
wow.
son, he is adorable. He plays this virtual video game. And so it's his virtual little monkey guy that he goes on there as, and he creates these fun little videos, but he talks and he just is so himself, and people that follow him on there, they get on the video game with him. So it's really a push-pull of what part of technology can be good for them, because essentially they could monetize on that later, and for now it's just for fun. Yeah, so that's I will add that piece.
Okay. So again, this is so gorgeous.
You said complex. I'm like, I'll try to. There's been a lot. It's hard to unpack the layers of everything that's happened.
I know, exactly. It
And
just takes time.
hopefully
Yeah.
you could see that in the chart. It's just
Well,
like,
look, it's the same. This is what's beautiful is once we get on a path with one of the aspects, that aspect keeps on giving and giving and giving. So
yeah.
this, for example, is the same. Notice your children, the moon,
Mhm.
are on YouTube. Leo in the 10th house, right? And they're building large online communities, moon opposite Jupiter and Aquarius, right?
Mhm.
Not everyone's kids are doing faceless profiles with 8,000 subs, but your kids do, right? And I'm not saying this to like make it an exceptional or to say congratulations or anything. It's more like this is what's happening precisely in your chart, and I want to point it out to you.
That makes
Does
sense.
it make sense when you see
Oh
when you see
yeah.
like that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been fun to see these parts of them. I think it's also I didn't, and maybe most of us didn't have this support and this space and this time and this love and this opportunity to have these creative outlets and navigate, I think, our passions and our creativity and who we are, what we like, who we want to kind of show up in the world. And it's huge to watch them be able to do that and watch how that evolves. And yeah, it's a fun aspect. And then it's just, the matter of balancing out the other electronic time, which is just pure playing. But
Yeah, I see.
so there's that's, I think, that push pull, that resistance or whatnot that you're talking about. It's okay. So long as we're spending enough time connecting in the real world.
I totally
Um,
know exactly what you mean. That war that is happening with technology. I also experienced
yeah.
it when I was with my little cousins. It was the same. It's
Mhm.
like, fine, be on your technology, but when you're with me, let's hang out and connect.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, I feel the moon in Leo because what I really hear is how one of the kind of like the epitome of your life, let's say, and I'm sorry, I don't know you that well yet. Um, is making sure that your kids can express themselves fully and be themselves. And I guess you as well are searching for the same thing in yourself, is to be able to just radiate who you are naturally. Well, that makes me think about the moon that is on the midheaven in Leo, right? Because that, forget about Jupiter for a moment.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate. And I don't know if this is Scorpio tendency, which I didn't even know my rising sign until I started following the astrology while my life was falling apart. But it very much used to be, very internal, keep things to myself, not expressive of too much of my internal world to other people. The peaceful part, the calm part, that was allowed out, but not all the other bits and pieces, not the sadness, not the anger. It was lots of repressing emotions.
Okay. Therefore, the square to Pluto on your ascendant in Scorpio, because Scorpio is indeed the one that hides and doesn't say anything and is quiet and calm and peaceful, right? Whereas Leo is the opposite. Hey, look at me. This is what I feel. This is what I want you to know.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that this experience that you're going through is also transforming that part of you hugely, that you start to also express.
Yeah. So that's a current resistive piece that I know I'm going to have to step into moving forward, building the business, sharing with other people, is really being seen in a much bigger way. So it's turning the camera on and talking to the camera and being seen in ways that I haven't before. I have a very easy time doing it one-on-one, or when I'm, with people in person. There's something about the camera that, there's that piece that I'm going to have to reprogram and teach my nervous system that it's safe to be seen in that way, and to share all of this stuff when it would be much easier to just keep it to myself and enjoy my peace. But I feel called to step through that fear and share all of this and just help more people get to experience, I think, what I'm getting to enjoy after going through all of this. But that fear of being seen is big.
Okay, so there for me is that fear again of being seen, right? You want to be seen, that's coming. There's the moon on the midheaven in Leo, being in front of the camera for the people, and the square with Pluto, right? So all the resistance towards being seen, whatever that comes from, whatever experiences you had that made you feel that way.
Oh yeah.
Right, and then you see that there's Pluto. He's at 5 degrees. He hasn't reached 6 degrees yet, and he won't because he's stationing retrograde tomorrow. So he's going to move back over the next few months, and then finally he's going to start moving forward and reach the opposition to your moon at last in April of 27. And then he's going to linger and stay opposing her really for a while until like 2028 November.
That makes sense.
So that for me is the period where you're in front of the camera. And I think it's going to start as early potentially as July when you move into the new house, because Jupiter is going to conjoin your moon in Leo. What does that mean? More in front of the camera. Maybe you've already started practicing.
Yeah. So one small way that I've opted to do that is by responding to people like you. And I'm like, we'll at least start with podcasts. We'll start getting the message out there. That feels like a manageable step, right? I'm used to sitting down and talking to someone each day. That's what I did with patients. And I love podcasts and podcasting. So that's me taking forward momentum, but not in an overwhelming way. And then, so I have, some scheduled throughout the summer, little pieces. And then, that's the plan, is like little digestible forward movements that don't shock the nervous system and make me just stop and give up.
Okay. That attitude that you have brings me back to Saturn transiting your 6th in Aries. Aries is the energy of go, go, go. Like, let's get this done as quickly as possible. I want to be in first place. It's a competition. It's a race.
Yeah.
And Saturn being there makes me think about you being much more cautious, to not burn out, to manage your energy well, to take incremental steps, to take things slowly, and just like to slow down the immense energy and impulse to move forward.
Yeah, very much hasn't been my nature previously. And having to just surrender to that and go at that slower pace for sure.
Hasn't been your nature, you said.
No, the go, the get it done has been. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I right went to schooling, so valedictorian in school. Right out of that, went into college, honors program, right? Get a 4-year degree immediately from that 4-year degree. So this is how I lived my life. Immediately 4-year degree, right into master's program for PA for 2 years. Got engaged, got married within a month of graduating, got my first job within that. So it's been very much go, boom, 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 like always doing, always accomplishing.
Okay, that makes me think about the moon on your midheaven in Leo, right? Being the one to be decorated.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course. Um, and the opposition to Jupiter that is on the cusp of your fourth house, it makes me think about all the education that you have.
Yeah, it felt like, again, having those degrees, having that, like, that made me stood on solid ground. I defined myself hugely from all of that success. So then
Mm.
letting all that go, stripping all of that away, right?
Oh,
Since 2023, I had to say, who the hell, who am I?
I
What,
get it.
what's
Mhm.
my, am I still like, is my husband still gonna want to be with me? Like, where's my worth? Like, what am I, for a lot of it felt like I was screwing up my whole family. I'm like, if I just go back to work, it's fine. It was really, it really redefining, I mean, everything. It was
Yeah.
a lot easier to just get, go to do the schooling and then do the job that you know is going to bring you the money. And I mean, maybe status, I don't know, I wasn't worried about that, but just the money and everything that it brings you. So to kind of put that away and think, how do I actually really want to have a career and build a career, especially when there's no blueprint, has been wild.
Interesting. Okay. I guess you got exhausted at one point. Like it was too much pressure on you and you blew up.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, again, it's the Pluto transit, which tells me actually whatever you're going through, like with this thing with the accolades and giving them up, it's still ongoing, like not getting recognition maybe. And having to show up in a very different way, maybe without the accolades being the front facing. I don't know, but that just comes up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes. I would say I don't even talk to like close friends and family. They don't ask about my goals and aspirations and what I'm working on currently. It's just been, that's all fallen to the wayside. So, they'll talk about the kids, we'll talk about family, but they don't talk about my big dreams moving forward. So when I get together with people who get it and understand it, how big I think all of this is, uh, then I light up and I'm excited to talk about it. But it's like, aside from my husband, the people close to me, they don't even ask about it. And I get it. I think it can be very confronting because we're really building and living life in, I think, a different way than maybe a lot of people are. But I'm like, that's the point. Like, that's what makes it fun. So yeah. And
hmm
teaching yourself that you don't need the external validation or external recognition or the proof, because there's no proof yet, but continuing to take steps anyway. Like, that's the work right now for me. So
I see. This is also what I'm also seeing or feeling that this is changing your position in your relationship to your birth family a
oh,
lot.
mhm. Yeah, it yeah, it completely deconstructed and reconstructed. I was the good girl. I was the caretaker, the overachiever, the peacekeeper, for sure. And I am none of that now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been worth it, actually. I have, there. those relationships are growing. They're changing, the relationships with my family. So I'm actually going to be closer. I'll be living closer to my dad and my sisters, and my mom. So there's going to be more of an opportunity to continue to slowly see how those relationships will evolve, or
Mm-hmm.
if they will evolve, or if they've, gone as far as they can. I don't know that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when we move in July, I'm going to be only about an hour from them versus right now it's about 3.5.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big deal, that month of July itself. Yeah, and
Yeah,
the next year. I see. So you've been away from them for some time. You haven't lived close to them.
right. Yep.
And now you're going back, kind of, or nearby.
Yes. And in Michigan, obviously, I lived very, very far away from them. So, like I said, in 2019, we moved down to Florida and
Mm-hmm.
they were 3.5 hours away. And, still that took years for those relationships to just kind of change and evolve. And now this will be, being an hour from them, will be the closest I've been to them since I think I was in college.
Right. So there is again Pluto that is about to enter your fourth house and is going to be on the cusp for the next year and a half or two, and opposing your moon, right? So like the reconstructed, or the actually the ongoing reconstruction of those family relationships.
Yeah.
Hmm. It also makes me think about, I don't know how you feel about this, but what's coming through is your house being kind of like a lighthouse.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. I think I know. I expect presence. I value presence and vulnerability and authenticity. And I tend to receive that when I'm with my family, or when I'm with, when I'm with people, when I'm with friends. So I definitely have had experiences, including when I'm with my immediate family, where I think it just reminds them to come back to the present moment, that the life we're living is right now. And it is worth being present and being here and not putting the blinders on to things that are no longer working. And life can still be fun. There are still things to look forward to. And yeah, I mean, that's at least what I hope to be for my family, and the people in my unit would be a lighthouse for sure. I'm like, I want to be a light. I don't want to make things harder for them. I can see both sides of the story. I can meet them where they're at. And when I can't, I know to kind of keep my boundaries and pull back my time, or just give a little space. So I like that
And I
lighthouse.
also meant like your family, like your house is the lighthouse, like you guys are hosting people. People know you in the community. You kind of bring people together. You cook for them, you organize events where you can all hang out and get close. Yeah,
That would
that's
be
what's coming up.
nice. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I feel you being like a community pillar. You specifically, by the way.
Huh. Okay. I think I'll have to sit with that and let
Like
that
having it, like leading a club, for example.
that for sure. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I would love to have something, once we're in the community, something that I can get people together and yeah, share those experiences. Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking, women, families, and just kind of, yeah, letting that evolve. So that
Yes. And I
that
see play.
aligns.
I see fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
That resonates.
I see a bouncy house.
That wouldn't surprise me. We have a good sized backyard now where we're moving. And when we lived in Michigan, we had a giant bouncy house in our
I
basement. It
know,
made a big
totally.
slip and slide on the hill. Like, yes.
Yeah. I felt the bouncy house because the Leo is the fun, but the Aquarius, the air. And so I felt the bouncing, right? And the Jupiter that makes it huge, but that it's something fun for the family, the moon. So the bouncy house.
Okay. Well, if we get called to buy a bouncy house, we'll say, yep, the astrology says
Okay.
it's in the
Uh,
works.
or the trampoline. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's actually, you're there. It is. It's the trampoline, because we've already
Okay.
talked about the trampoline. Yep. many times. That there's already a big plan for a giant trampoline in the backyard. Yep. That's already been, it's already swirling in the manifestation
And
process.
the kids and having parties over and the kids' friends over. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Yeah, which is all new. That has not been, that previously would have given me anxiety to do that. I did not have the reserves. I did not have the energy. I did not have the drive to host people and entertain. And now moving forward in this different space, it's something that I'm looking forward to and I'm excited about. So different for sure.
Yes. Okay.
I can see this is what you're going for.
What do you mean?
Just having it all make sense, like the muck, the mess of it in the beginning, where it's like, where are you gonna go with this? And then you get to the end, and you're like, yep, it's all clear now, and here's where it's headed, and it all makes sense, and it's all worth it, and just like a full picture. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it takes that hour to start from nowhere and get to somewhere.
It makes sense. I'm guessing, especially with what the astrology has been doing lately, seems like it's been, or maybe it hasn't been crazy heavy for everyone. I guess I don't know. I just assume that it's been working its magic on everyone like it has been on me.
That's right. And everyone experiences it very differently. And there's all the complexity of each individual person's life that I have to parse through, like in the conversation itself. But that's not hard, it just, you just chat and you get somewhere. What did you think about that?
I think it's exactly what I expected, and I'm happy. I learned a couple pieces that I didn't expect, some things I didn't know. There's a couple pieces that I'm going to have to sit with and I think grow with and get comfortable. That makes sense with what you talked about, Pluto kind of not being done working on me. It seems like I have some answers there. And it's just always nice to see that the astrology kind of fits what I've been going through. And then also to have kind of a little picture of what I can expect moving forward. It brings a little bit of relief, a little bit of clarity, a little bit of, yep, you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path. And it's fun. I think hopefully people are going to gobble up your podcast and books I think that you're planning on writing, right? To help people understand whatever it is you're working on to help people learn astrology or understand astrology. I think it's a piece that people need. I think it brings some peace in what can feel like some chaotic times. At least that's my opinion.
That's right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So keep going. Whatever you're doing, keep working on it.
I'm going to stop recording and then you and I can talk for just a couple more minutes, okay? Yeah. So to everyone that's watched, nice to see you, and we'll see you next time. All right, signing out.